Hello and welcome back to Three Skulls Tavern. I'm your host Matt, and we're back for our next episode of Mutant Year Zero. You've been watching along, I assume, to have come this far. So we're not going to do a recap. I guess Ed might. I won't do a recap. Ed, I guess you might do a very quick recap because it's for us the players. It's been a good few weeks since we last played.
Yeah,
3. Yeah, something like that.
About 3
so,
weeks.
Yeah, over to you, Ed.
Thanks. Cheers, Matt. So where we last left off, you had gone to the Nova Cult's base, which is an underground location where you and the rest of the hand-picked few from the Ark decided to take over the base. You managed to make your way through, where you came face to face with an automaton, or in this case, as far as you're concerned, a man made of metal, where you kind of faced off with that. So while two of you were facing off against them, one of you, Matt, your character, made your way into the cylindrical room, and you decided to take on the wonderful leader, Plutonia, killing her in a very nice, stylish way, shooting her in the leg, and she falling down through the from the top of the building all the way down to the bottom, and managing to destabilize the rocket that was in there. As you managed to get your way out, Dara decided to come in. So we kind of left off with Dara kind of making his way into the chamber. I do believe that Gia had run off down the corridor away from that. Well done.
Away from both the robot and the imminent explosion.
Yep. Along with the rest of the Ark's, I guess, raiding party. So we kind of like take off from where we left off. So Dara, you were in this large, long cylindrical room where a few days prior you'd been held captive down at the bottom. The long cylindrical tube that was steaming with lots of lights, and there was a lot of like pressure and sounds had kind of like broken loose, had been rattling around inside this housing, and had kind of dropped and kind of gone off at a weird angle as you'd kind of come running in, as all the steam and smoke had started to kind of pour out the base of this large cylindrical rocket, I guess. What did you want to do?
I'm going to shout for Silas, and trusting that I'll never see him down amongst the mist and the steam and the carnage below. I seem to remember that there's a ladder.
There's a ladder going all the way up. So you can see I've cleared the map for you. And you are here. There's a ladder going up.
I'll head to the ladder.
Okay. You grip the ladder and start to make your way up. You can hear this deafening noise of this hissing and rattling of this thing sort of like right next to you as you're kind of climbing up. There's this large metal, hot, steaming cylindrical object rattling around in its housing. Everything's really loud. There's lots of like sweating. You can just hear all this hissing below you. You can hear popping noises. It sounds like rivets and stuff kind of hitting the sides of the walls. You kind of like just keep going up. You keep climbing up the ladder. You make quite short work of it with your forearms. And you go up as far as you can go. You get up as far as you can go, and you can see you're on the top floor of this large cylindrical room. And up here, the actual cylindrical item is like rattling around even more so. It's kind of like spinning around. You can see it's kind of like this housing that it's kind of like whacking it. And it's this very metallic on metallic sound. And the more it's hitting, you can see there's dents and stuff appearing in the skin of this metal. You look around. You can see the doorway that you went through before, through the steam. There's a console that's bleeping with lots of like colored lights and various other things happening.
Okay. There is really no I'll head to the door, but I seem to remember it being we needing
Need a key.
some cards, some key. I'll try and pound on the door.
You start pounding on the door. As you start pounding on the door, you suddenly feel this dirt and stuff hit you on the top of your head and down onto your shoulders. And you can see that the sky is now open, and you can see that all the steam and stuff is going up into the sky. The cylindrical room at the top is now opened, and you can just make out the afternoon sky.
There's no answer. The door.
No, there's no answer to the door. Silas.
Yeah, I'm running for it.
You're running. You get to the ladder that takes you back up. To that. Did you want to make a wits roll?
Just a straight up wits roll?
Good old-fashioned wits roll, yeah.
All right. Oh, look at that. 2 successes.
Cool. So through all the clattering and all the noise you can hear, you can just make out the sound of this on the doorway behind you, just as you're about to get onto the ladder.
Okay. I think I know what that means. With especially the successful wits roll. So I'm gonna have that pregnant pause. My hand just like on the ladder rung, like. Oh, come on! No! And then I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna run back and try and open the door. I mean, I've got the pass, so I should be able to open it.
Yeah. So you start to run back. Gia, you are in, I guess the one of the central buildings. You can see down the corridor where the robot or the metal man was. You can see there's another set of doors on the other side, and you can see smoke and stuff starting to come through that. Now, what were you? I can't remember if you shut this door or not.
I think I did. Remind me again, because the automaton isn't actually disabled, is it?
It's stuck in the middle of the of the corridor. Its head is off. And it's kind of like not doing anything. It's just standing there.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression that maybe it was. I was afraid it was still alive, and I wanted to shut it out. Mm-hmm. But all the better if it's not gonna get up anytime soon and bang on the door, break down the door. So I'd like to rally the rest of the invading party and take stock of how many of us are there now.
Yeah, there's probably about 15 or so of you.
How many casualties to the metal men?
So you can see they're dragging sort of like 4 or 5 people back towards you.
Well, that's unfortunate, but I guess we've been so lucky so far in this. So I presume that the smoke and noise is getting to be disconcerting even in this part of the building, right?
The whole building that you're in is starting to kind of like shake. You can see cracks and stuff appearing in sort of like the fascia of the walls. Just everything's like making this horrible vibrating noise. You can feel it sort of like through the base of your feet, kind of going up to your knees.
Yeah, that does not sound good. Let's everybody get out of here quick. Get up those stairs, and nobody wants to get buried down here. We'll take everybody who can make it up the stairs. Yes, I presume we, like if there's still so many of us left standing, then we'll be able to carry everybody.
Make a manipulate roll, please.
Come on, guys. This is bad. This is bad. Roll.
Oh.
That's
No
not
successes.
great.
You gonna push that?
Do you want to push that?
Honestly, 2 days, no.
Yep. Okay. Come on, man! You run off towards the
Look,
stairs.
I'm just gonna start running and hope that they follow.
Okay. Dara. Banging on the door. And you're just sort of like looking up.
I'm going to collapse. Because I'm down to strength 2. I'm beaten. I'm going to put my back to the door and I'm going to dig out the bottle cap. For some reason, it's the thing that I've kept, and it was the one thing that I took from my den, even though it's worthless. But it's got a 5-pointed star, and I'm gonna take the bottle cap. I'm just gonna put it and try and fit it on the missile to try and follow the star that's painted on the missile.
Okay. The whole thing is rattling, and you're kind of like jarring your finger as you're kind of doing that, you can just, everything's just shaking, sort of like at your back against the door. You can see the smoke and the steam is now billowing up. You can just barely see anything in front of your face, and then you suddenly hear this horrible rumble noise as you can see the cylindrical object and that star that you can see on the cylinder starts to kind of like be pushed in by the force of whatever's going on inside the cylinder. It kind of like sucks it in. And at that point, the doors behind you open and you kind of fall back to see Silas standing over you.
The bottle cap bounces away from me.
Yep.
I'm at full strength. I haven't taken any strength damage, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna be like eyes wide, grab you by your shoulders as you're kind of falling, and just like pull you through the doorway, and then scan to close it again.
Yep. So
regardless of whether your bottle cap comes with us or not, probably doesn't.
You dragging him. As you drag him in, you can see this. There's a flash of light from somewhere in the cylinder. As the door is shut, you can hear this almighty crash noise, and then this very large whooshing noise, like someone's blowing in your ears. At which case, the 2 doors that are in front of you, they kind of like bulge towards you, and then start to kind of like go a kind of dull yellowy red color as the whole doors start to kind of get hotter and hotter. You can see steam kind of coming off of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna like let go of Dara and be like, just scream, run!
I'll get to my feet and sort of half to myself and half out of amazement. You came back, and follow him.
Yeah. You both run. Can you, in fact, could all of you make a move/agility/run as fast as you can? Yeah, move roll.
Do I get a frog leg thing?
If you want to use your frog legs, you can indeed use your frog
You
legs.
gotta spend a mutation point, I think, right?
Yeah.
I think, I have plenty.
Okay, cool.
Oh man.
I just have no mana here.
I'm gonna push mine because I think this might be important here. Even though I'm gonna take at least no successes on the dice, but I've got one radiation symbol showing. Oh, okay. For fuck's sake! I break myself.
No.
Oh no.
Holy shit! All right, I've got a ton of mutation points now, but I'm broken.
Oh shoot!
You go flying as fast as your legs can carry you, straight towards the ladder. You go to grab the ladder, and as you go to grab the ladder, you mistime your arms, and you crack your head straight into the ladder, and you knock yourself out onto the floor. You see Paul as you come running forward.
Oh, because
like,
I can't push my roll either because I've only got 2 left in agility.
No. So you're kind of like, it's difficult for you because you're quite a big brute in this kind of smaller corridor. So you're like running in, sort of like a half stoop. So you kind of like lag behind him as he runs off, and then crack, bonk.
Can't believe that. I'll grab you. I'll grab you by the scruff of the neck, or carry you bodily by like a handbag, if needs be. I'll put you onto my shoulder. And start climbing.
Okay. You take one look behind you, and you can see the doors in the distance are sort of like going a bright yellow color. You start climbing up. Could you please make a strong roll?
Force, probably, right?
Force, yeah. Sorry, force.
Okay, that's... Oh, dear.
Yay, a success.
And there was much merrymaking. That's fine. Yeah, you basically grab hold of Silas and drag him up. As you're kind of getting up to the top, you kind of handily, you have 4 hands because you're obviously grabbing him up. If you only had your requisite 2, you wouldn't be able to undo the actual cantilever that's above you. But you're like, oh, I've got one on the ladder, one on Silas. The other 2 can just do it. That's fine. So, Gia, you've kind of run through the main part of the facility, run back down the corridor, and you're sort of running all the way back to the sort of like the entranceway.
Yeah.
And you can, as you do that, you hear this almighty crash noise, and you can hear a buckling sound, and then a whooshing sound, as everything just starts to shake, like crazy shaking. So much so, a load of you kind of like fall over. The ones that followed you have kind of fallen out on the floor. And yeah, you can hear this like bang, bang, bang noise. Dara, as you get up out of the pipe, you can just see smoke everywhere. And as you see all the smoke rising out of this, what you thought was just sort of like the ground, there's a sudden burst of light, which kind of blinds you for a second. And the long cylindrical thing comes out of the actual hole that was on the top of the other thing, but it's not going straight up. It's kind of rattling around as it kind of comes up. And as it kind of rattles around and comes up, it kind of goes off at a strange angle. Someone roll me a d6, please.
Any of us?
Any of you.
All right, I'll do it. 5.
Okay. And it kind of whistles around and then fires up into the air. And as it goes off into the air, you can see it kind of go in an arc all the way to the south. And it just kind of flies to
The
south.
rocket.
The rocket.
I guess that's
At a
fortunate.
weird trailing kind of
Off to the south.
angle.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it kind of like dips below the horizon. And then there's a very large light. And this large explosive, almost like a mushroom, kind of you can see over on the horizon. And then you hear this really loud noise. And then it disappears. No light. It's just this large cloud hanging over a large area to the south.
Ooh.
Oh my god, what have we done?
Well, luckily we don't know. And also, that was totally Platonia's doing.
The rest of you kind of run out, and all you can see is Dara and dragging Silas through the smoke that's kind of like now kind of faded across the fields and around these little ransacked pigsties and huts.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone kind of looks around. You can see the odd cultist running off into a corner somewhere, being chased down by members of your arc. Congratulations. You have yourself a new arc location.
Well, how much of it is left after all the crumbling noises?
Well, you might have to put a lick of paint on it, perhaps.
I mean, I presume that it was once upon a time made to withstand just that, but at the same time, probably things didn't go as well as they were planned. Like, you know, with the unfastening of things and such.
Perhaps.
Well, it's nicer than nicer than an underground car park. I'll have that.
Always look on the bright side, right?
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
the pigs are still there, right?
The pigs are still there, yes.
Food.
So you're okay there. You've still got the pigs.
One question I wanted to ask. Oh, I'm out, so never mind. I'm unconscious.
I'll that we're in safety. If there's no one around that I know that has heal, I can try and heal you.
I do have a lick of heal, not great, 3 dice, all in all.
It's better than mine.
I mean, I don't have any critical injuries or anything, so I don't think there's probably a roll needed because there's no tension or anything, right?
No, that's fine.
Because I'm basically just like knocked unconscious. I'm not like.
Oh, so it's just steadily increasing aggressive slaps. So like, wake up, wake up, wake up, Silas, wake up.
I mean, technically, if my wits are broke, no, it wasn't wits. It was agility, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. You kind of like come to, you're kind of looking up, seeing Dara kind of like shaking you and slapping you lightly on the face. Loads of smoke and all over the place. You can just about see the sky between all the smoke, and then you can hear the sounds of pigs. under the sounds of people shouting and cheering.
I'll grab the back of Silas's head and sort of like lift him into a sitting position.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, Silas, you have to see this, and turn his head round to the strange cloud in the south.
In the sky.
What is that? Oh man, what? Hold on. I'm gonna get like a bottle of water out and drink it while which I technically need to do to restore a point of agility. So I'm not technically broken.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. What is that? What's that? This is like a rain cloud.
I find you in the crowd. What happened? What was that thing? And what was that other thing that flew away? And where's Plutonia?
Plutonia's dead.
Oh. Oof.
Yeah, she fell. She dropped. I mean, she dropped a I guess we know what grenades are. I would.
Yes.
I would probably, because I'm a chronicler.
Yeah.
She dropped a bomb at me. Something called a grenade, an artifact of the old time.
Oh, what a witch!
And it. What did I do with it? Did I kick it away or something, or did it fall? Did I kick it away, or did it like fall away? I can't remember.
It fell away below you.
Right. I mean, it didn't blow up at my feet, which I think she was trying to do, but it fell to the bottom of that. You know where they had us tied up when we visited them last time? Basically landed right down there, blew up, and that big tower thing, that metal tower thing, it kind of like knocked off to its side. And
oh crap!
I think that was some sort of fire starting underneath it. I think to make it like fly.
And
I've seen
that
pictures
was the thing.
before in a book of something like that, to go up into space, I think, or to the moon or something like that.
Oh, that's silly. Who would do that?
As Silas, no more killing.
No more killing, did you say?
Yeah.
Well,
you need to steer pure of heart, or have less blood on your hands. That's why I'm here. And thank you for coming back.
Yeah. Dara, don't mention it. But what do you mean about no more killing? I mean, out here in the zone, sometimes it's kill or be killed, isn't it? That's what Gia always says.
It sure is. I mean, also that's what the elder says. Kill them before they kill you.
I mean, I've not really killed anyone before, but I didn't kill Plutonia. Well, maybe I did. I kind of did, I guess. I didn't finish telling you what happened, because when the bomb dropped at the bottom and that tower thing was knocked kind of a bit at a weird angle, I climbed up the ladder. She was waiting for me at the top of the ladder, and I kind of grabbed her leg and pulled her from the top, so she fell all the way to the bottom.
I mean, she was going to blow you up. What else were you going to do with her? And I mean, we know what she did to us. She drugged us, and she would have fed us to the pigs and everything. What? You're not seriously having remorse over that?
It's not about remorse. It's about you're better than this. Once you start, you get a taste, and you kill, and eventually the killing means nothing. It means nothing.
Well,
You don't have to do that. You have to consider everyone.
even if someone's like trying to blow you up, and you know that if you don't do something, you're gonna die. I don't feel any remorse. I mean, what you're talking about, maybe I'm already there, but like,
killing people is hard. It's hard work.
well,
I mean, it's not like
I just grabbed her ankle, and
it wasn't Plutonian I was talking about.
Oh.
Did I kill somebody else?
Yeah.
I forgot about?
You killed someone in a hallway. And you turned to me and you looked, and you were overjoyed with yourself.
Yeah. I'm forgetting about that with all the other stuff that happened. That's rather than player forgetfulness.
What
are you talking about?
I saw that look. It's not a look that you wear well.
You talking about the person they were shooting at us, right?
Yes.
Well, again, I mean, just did what had to be done.
So, Dara, do you mean there's people who are made for killing and others who are not? Is that what you're saying?
Of course, people are made for killing. Some people wouldn't have come back. Some people wouldn't have come back for me.
Oh.
I don't want to lose that. That part is what needs saving. And you erode, you chip away at it with everybody that you pull off a gantry, or you shoot or stab. You lose a bit of yourself, and then one day you don't go back for your friends.
Oh, but Dara, we're not made for killing. We're made for surviving. Because if we don't, we're not there. So it doesn't have any sense for us to be there if we don't survive.
I don't know if I should tell you this, but it did feel kind of good.
Well, yeah, because you killed him before he killed you. I mean,
I'm trying to be serious here.
Don't you think? I mean, you were happy because he wasn't going to kill you then. That's how I feel out in the zone. I'm happy if I know I'm going to live that day.
Well, I think I felt happy to still be alive, is what I've been telling myself. But if I'm honest with myself, maybe there was something else.
Oh.
Which is what Dara's talking about right now. But I don't know. Maybe. Look, I'm not planning on killing anyone else right now. We're through this. I need some sleep, and I think you do too. You look pretty fucked up yourself, mate.
I could do with some sleep.
At which point you see both Chunk and I guess Trixie come wandering over to both of you.
God,
all three of you. Chunk basically comes over and goes, "That was amazing!" As you can see that he's kind of got. Is he chewing on someone's finger? I think he might be. And he kind of spits it out.
Constantly eating.
Great. That was amazing. You can see he's covered in blood. He's kind of holding sort of like this meat cleaver that he's got his hands onto.
I'll whisper to Dara, "You mean like him?"
Exactly like him.
Yeah, I don't want to be like that.
Don't
worry.
He smiles at you. You can see there's bits of like meat and stuff on his moustache. That he's got this big bushy moustache. And he kind of like wanders over to you, Silas, and slaps you on the back. He goes, yes, more of that. Trixie, she's kind of like, she's walking. She does have wings, but she's walking. And she's a little less happy about everything, but she's just kind of following Chunk's lead. And she sort of says, I think we've got all of them. I think we've got them all. I think a couple kind of did run off, but I don't think we're ever going to see them again. Well done for leading us here. And she kind of like turns to Gia and to Silas. She kind of ignores you, Dara. And she says, well done. And she kind of like wanders over and shakes your hand. So, we'll get hold of the others. What do you think we should do? Should we hold up here, or should we just loot the place, raid it for what we can, and then make our way to the other location from the hill? What do you think?
I mean, that might have the whatever that was might have damaged the place a bit. We might have to do some repairs. So yeah, maybe the on the hill is.
There might be some of those like metal people in there too, because we didn't have time to like check the whole place.
Oh gosh, no more of those, please. That was horrid.
I think we might need to go in a bit more prepared in case we find any more of them.
Derek, do you think that metal guy?
I don't know.
He enjoyed killing, didn't he?
Who?
Like I said, some people are made for killing.
He was. I mean, that's why he had that blade and stuff, right?
Yeah. You have dogs and you have wolves.
I was kind of looking at you, just sort of smiling, and picking something out of his teeth.
Oh God, I hate you.
He snorts a bit and kind of, boring. And he wanders off.
So the kind of cluster of buildings on the up at the top.
Yeah.
Have they been damaged by the rocket?
No. They haven't. They're kind of maybe a little charred around the edges, perhaps. But they're not damaged.
Right.
Two of them are pigsties, where the pigs are kept. And the third one is sort of like the bigger one is kind of just an old broken down sort of like barn that has got a bunch of I guess food is the nicest way to describe it.
Right.
It's got a lot of
mystery meat.
and a lot of old waste of food. The end bits of maybe some corn, or just any of the slop that they've basically created. And you can definitely smell. Yeah. There's definitely excrement here as well. And they've kind of like put everything in bags and containers and just kind of like use that as a storage place for presumably the food that as and when you could feed the pigs.
Okay. So no like beds or anything?
No what?
No beds? It's basically just like food storage and pigs and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I guess we have to stay here overnight because we're not going to make it back to the hill before nightfall, right? If it was already in the afternoon.
That's a good question.
We have to. We can pass through previous zones fairly quickly, but it might be a bit of. It's like gonna be like 4. Is it 4 squares?
Yeah. So yes, it's gonna be about 4 hours. So
is it 2 hours or 1 hour to pass?
It's
through?
2 hours. I think it might be 1 hour if you're not. You've already been through them. I believe.
1 hour. Yep.
1 hour. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it'll take you about 4 hours to get through. to get back, which will probably get you just after dark.
Yeah.
But with the wounded people and all, I don't think
that's
we
gonna be a
should
bit
take
hard,
that
isn't it?
risk.
I don't think we
Yeah,
can really. We kind of have to. I guess we have to kind of go back down.
Yeah.
Hunker down here.
We're gonna have to go down and see if there's a place where we can keep the wounded safe. And if we go down in numbers, on the lookout for one of these metal things, then hopefully it won't take us by surprise like the first one did.
Yeah, that was. I still have goosebumps.
You can do that. That between yourselves and the other two gang bosses, they can help with that. In fact, Chunk is extremely happy to go back and see what you can find. Yeah,
They were feeding us these like hard something. It was weird. It was like some kind of a stone. We had to swallow it. It wasn't like a stone though. It was kind of like if you when I bit into it, kind of came apart. Kind of like, I don't know what it was like, but they had lots of them, and they were kind of talking about they had some ritual or something where they had to take them, and it was to do with keeping them safe, or they said vitamins or some word like that, which I remember reading about it once, but I don't remember what it meant. Something about
they said it made you safe and healthy, right?
Something like that.
Good. Yep.
But they all took them while we were watching, and we were the only ones that fell asleep. So I think maybe they gave us something to drink too, that maybe they kind of poisoned us or laced our drink with something. But I'm kind of curious to find those vitamins, whatever they were.
Mm-hmm.
And that stew that they had, that they have such great food here. We need to get our hands on that.
Yeah, they had some very nice food here.
I mean, honestly, that was sort of half the reason to get this place.
Yeah.
Just think.
Yeah, I think we're not gonna be able to get the wounded back. So we need to kind of secure this place, don't we? Don't we, Chunk?
We certainly do.
You're in charge of this expedition, aren't you?
I'll do it. That's fine.
You're in charge of security.
Right.
I guess in a pinch we could stay up above ground, even if the pigsty is not all that nice. Like if it's if the downstairs is gonna collapse on us or something. Because I mean, like if this wasn't safe, like the pigs are all right. The ghouls don't come eat them. Ghouls like pigs, don't they? They would take them.
I imagine they would, yeah. Or other
Chunk's
raiders, maybe. But
Chunk's been thinking, and he looks at you and says, "Why don't you guys stay up here, and I'll take some of me and my lads. We'll go down." Sure.
Do you think he's gonna steal everything?
No, we're all gonna come down together.
Steal everything.
We're gonna all come down together. But you go in front.
Sure.
Call. Good call.
So him and his little gang kind of go ahead of you, and you will make your way back down into into the facility. You go back down the main stairs, back into the main entranceway, back to the main area that you were in beforehand. And if you remember correctly, you're all kind of sitting on boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all kind of like being opened, and crates are basically being pulled out. And there's a lot of you've seen this in the zone. Lots of canned food, but they're just like tins, like very rusted kind of tins of food. And there's a fair bit of it. They kind of managed to look around, and they get some of those. They also find some of these little jars that have got we've got those little stones in that you could chew.
I want to look at is there any writing on the jars that have them?
There was at some point, but
okay,
now it's all faded and gone. But yeah, you can you try and open up the thing, and it takes, it's like, why is it? It just keeps clicking around, and you don't know how to open it. For the love of,
not just child protect. What are they called? Child protective.
Apocalypse proof.
Yeah.
Child proof. That's it. Child proof.
Yeah. So you kind of manage to kind of like figure a way to kind of like push it in and then twist it, and then you're and then you've got more of these little white and grey coloured little stones that you can chew.
I'll take one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now they know we're all safe. Like if I all of a sudden like pass out, then we know to leave them alone.
Yeah.
Or we give them to people we want to pass out. I mean,
no, I'll happily take one. I'll just basically say to you both, keep an eye on me, and if I end up suddenly all of a sudden falling asleep or getting really sleepy, then we know what these are. And then I'll put the jar inside my pocket.
Sure. You do a bit of tests, and when you kind of wander around the rest of the facility, the good thing is up until the I guess the silo as you know it now, on the top floor you've got a bit of a kind of a reverent place to be. So there's a little place on the side where someone could stand and have a little bit of a sermon or a bit of a conversation. There's various more of these crates like sort of dotted around, which have been turned into seats. Underneath all the crates there's more of these little stone vitamin things. There's more food. There's quite a lot of stuff here. You also find these large boxes of water, which are big, sturdy, sort of, I guess, old world plastic with metal around it. And inside you've got all this, you assume is quite clean water. And there's loads of them. I mean, you're looking at probably easily for all of you, maybe a week's worth of water.
Which room is it? Which room is all this in?
This is the top room.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of those in these sort of like large things, and they're really heavy to move. It would take quite a few of you. So you've got loads of those. You can also see that in some of the boxes, when you open them, there are sort of like lots of salted and dried pork, obviously from the pigs. And there's also scattered around loads of sort of like everything seems to be sort of like a slightly rusted metal cups, metal cutlery, metal plates, and everything has the same kind of, on some of them, the same kind of like circle with the star in the middle and the wings coming out the side. Almost everything has the same kind of livery, as it were, for that. And also on sort of like the bottles, there's just, you can just make out that kind of edges of things like that. So they clearly all came as a big job lot. The middle floor is sort of more of a kind of open air sort of cantina. This is where they ate. This is where they kind of like sat and read. There's books and stuff on the side. But when you open up the books, all the pages are faded and stuff, and it looks like people have drawn in them. And they've drawn sort of over the faded pages, pretty much when you kind of like flick through the books, the kind of story they were talking about, a newborn child coming in, and then basically becoming the chosen one, and that sort of stuff. And you can definitely see that in picture form. It kind of matches with what they were talking about. And then the lower floor, as you saw, is the sleeping area. You can see sort of all the beds with all the little trunks, and there is another door. When you go through that door, you have to use the key card that you have, and inside there is more storerooms, and you've got a lot of other bits and pieces. There's a lot of junk, and I mean the gearheads will probably go crazy in here.
Are there any artifacts like? I mean, because that's what I'm interested in. The junk.
Indeed, there are.
Gearheads that are interested in is one thing, but I'm specifically going to be looking for, artifacts.
Yeah. So yes, let's have a look. What have we got for artifacts? Let's see.
Oh,
It's in the chat, is it?
It is. You've got a book.
Okay.
There is also a canoe.
Yay!
And a small bottle of smelly, nice stuff. So you've got you've got a canoe, which you have seen before. You did have canoes back at your old arc. There was like a lake that you used to use them on to go fishing on. So you know what the canoe is. The book itself is an old, worn, handheld written book. And it's got it's all sort of like waterlogged. It's kind of still kind of faded on the front. But when you kind of like flick through it, there's a number of pages you can actually read. I am going to
just here where we can't open any of the links.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm about to do this.
oh.
I'm going to read it because this is also going to be going out in audio podcast.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally expected like a pre-apocalypse diary. This is so cool.
So the diary handout, there's a handout that we're seeing for the diary. 4 entries in it. First entry, November 14th. I left the Ark like a thief in the night. I had no other choice. They would never understand why I had to leave them. They must fend for themselves now. I have to get back to Eden. November 17th. I have walked through the zone for 3 days. I think zone ghouls, or something worse, are stalking me. Am I on the right path? I can't remember the way. I have to find a lookout point somewhere. November 18th. Was I right to leave my post? There was still so much to learn, to discover, and I miss my children more than anything. November 19th, the last entry. The damned zone ghouls attacked me just before dawn. Only my insomnia saved my life. All food and water is gone. The key card to Eden as well. The bastards might as well have killed me. There's no hope. There's nothing with the diary, just...
No, it's just that. As you're kind of flicking through the diary, what you do notice is that as you're flicking through towards the end of the diary, there is a logo which looks very similar to the key card you had that was on that keychain that you found.
Okay.
And you kind of go, hang on. And then you look at the key card and it's the same kind of...
Does it? Is there the word Eden written on the key card at all?
It is, yeah.
Aha.
Whoa.
Okay.
Did you tell us this?
Sure. Yeah. Like, hold on. So I'm probably reading that out loud because you won't be. Neither of you can read, I don't think.
No.
Right. And then, as I'm kind of reading that to you, I'll be like, hold on a second. Eden.
And I'm just going to quickly show you the card for you.
Oh.
There you go.
Cool. Yeah, so ES, Eden Security, in a kind of a shield with a crown above it and wings coming out.
Yep.
It's like a...
And then there's a thumbprint, and then there's a little kind of barcode at the bottom. It's sort of like the same kind of coloured gold and white that's on the back. That's part of the same kind of diary. It's sort of like the stationery is a similar sort of design.
Okay, so we have an ID card for like an Eden Security ID card. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. That's not the one that has been getting us in.
No,
right. Okay.
It's not the same one.
So I'll say that as well. This hasn't been working inside here. That was this card, and I'll show them the one with the star on it.
But Silas, does this mean that I mean, we've heard about Eden. Does this mean it's real now? If it says that, if this writing, if it's in writing, it's real, right? Is that how writing works?
Not really, but look, somebody wrote that, right? And
yeah,
it could be a lie, it could be some sort of a trap or something, but maybe it isn't. And they wrote in this 3 days, like traveling for 3 days, but we don't know in which direction they started off. We don't know how this diary got here. Like, did they end up like? It sounded like they died. Did maybe one of the people in this arc found the body of the person who wrote this diary and brought it back here. I mean, that room we were just in looks like their what's it called again? Their Eden Vault.
The vault.
Maybe that's their vault where they keep their artifacts, because I mean there are 3 artifacts in there. So, I mean, we can ask. Do we have any survivors actually from our attack?
From your attack, of the cult?
Are any of the cult? Did any of the cultists survive, or has Chunk
they all got wiped
them all?
out? Basically, they've all been wiped out.
Yeah.
And the ones that did sort of like surrender have been put out of their misery.
Okay. We have, I can't remember her name.
I'm gonna say Agatina.
Let's see, Agatina.
Abatina.
Abatina.
There we go. I think I've written it down actually. Have I? No. So, I mean, we can ask Abatina if she knows anything about it. But she's not with us right now, is she? Or does she know?
No. She is.
She killed the pig farmer,
she
and
is
then
with
with us.
Yeah,
she was.
She is with you.
Yeah. That's right.
So if you ask her to come down, Abatina comes down and she sort of says, "Yes, this is the storeroom." When you kind of show her where you found the stuff, she says that this is Plutonia's personal stash.
I'll show her the diary and say, do you know anything? Have you seen this before? Do you know where Plutonia might have got her hands on this?
This is where he says, I think Plutonia found this with some other things. And she kind of like looks around. As she sort of looks around, she says, I'm pretty sure there was something else here. And she kind of like sort of like has a bit of a rummage in some of the stuff, and she's like starts to throw a few things around. No, then she kind of finds some other stuff. She goes, "Oh, well, this is mine," puts it to the side, and you kind of have to wait sort of like 5 minutes while she has a look through. She says, "I'm pretty sure there was something else. There was like she had a little box with her. Pretty sure she found them all at the same time."
Might have. She might have had it with her when she died.
Okay, so
in which case there's probably nothing left.
I pulled Silas aside just a step away from Abatina, and I say, the person in the book. Do you think it was an elder? Or do you think it was somebody like Albertina? Because they said they missed their children. Do you think it was somebody like her?
It could be someone like her, or it could be an elder. I don't know. But we've heard of Eden. Did our elder talk about Eden at all?
No, your elder hasn't.
Okay.
So you've heard of Eden through sort of like rumors that you've heard with some of the other kids at the Ark.
Yeah.
Where it was kind of like that whole kind of it's a place where, but you didn't think Eden was a place. You thought Eden was like an adjective of a place to go that's safe. So not necessarily a location called Eden, but as you were aware, and Eden is a place of safety.
Right. Okay.
In fact,
I mean,
you thought
this card makes me think that this is it's a real place, right? And
well, the other cards seem to open up doors, so it goes to figure that this will probably open up doors to wherever that location is.
And it's a real place where somebody came from who had children, like an elder. It's an Ark, right? But it's not an Ark. It's not the Ark that they were staying at. They said they left an Ark to go to Eden.
They were leaving their children and their Ark to go to Eden. I don't know why.
Why didn't they take them?
I don't know, Gina. It's all I know is what's been written. I don't even know if it could be a trap too. I don't know.
But how could you make a trap with a key card like that? We couldn't make one like that.
I don't know. All I know is, for all we know, Plutonia could have written that. I don't know. I'm feeling really suspicious right now. I don't know why.
You can hear sort of like Chunk basically turning over beds and breaking into lockers. You can hear his crew sort of like going, "Yeah, I found this," and they were kind of like basically ransacking the place. "This is mine!" He shouts at someone. "Get back, you fuck!"
She's charming.
Other people are like, "Yep, okay, no problem. We're not going to bother him." Trixie kind of wanders along and says, "So there is one more door that we can't seem to get through, which is at the end."
Oh.
Where's that? On the.
And so she points to the door that leads into the sort of like cylindrical silo room.
Ah, yeah. Okay. So the one that's where the automaton was.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, here. Let me try and open it.
You kind of go back upstairs and then through the corridor. You go past the metal man who is in pieces. Or his head's come off and he's basically had his wiring pulled out, thanks to Dara. I'm assuming, Dara, you're just just wandering around following them.
I'm waiting to be allowed to go to sleep.
Yeah, but the first step is like making sure that Chunk doesn't, just loot the place and
leave it be.
Like, yeah, find something that I want to make sure if there are any artifacts here that I kind of managed to at least see them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you kind of make your way to the doors. You can see that they've kind of like almost sort of melted into each other. So yeah, you think it's going to be a bit of a tricky situation. You got to use the the key card, it doesn't seem to do anything.
Yeah. So I'm basically gonna. What I wanted to do is on the walk over there, I wanted to surreptitiously take the Eden card off of the like whatever the
off the key fobs. Yeah,
off the fob, yeah, and kind of slip it into like a pocket or something, right?
Yep, that's sure.
Because I'm not a boss, and I imagine if this is our new Eden, someone at some point is going to demand I hand over the keys to the kingdom.
Yes.
And that card doesn't work for this. So this is one thing I want to kind of yeah. And nobody outside of Dara and Gia and myself would have known about it. I guess I would have showed it to Abatina as well.
Abatina knows about it, yeah. But other than that,
yeah,
you're all pretty much it's just you guys. So the actual the swipe card is with a bunch of other cards.
Yeah.
And there's a whole selection of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of that's fine.
In fact, I'll actually take the. No, I'll never mind. Scratch that. One thing I did want to ask when we were up, sitting down looking at the mushroom cloud, did the opening in the ground that the rocket flew out of, did that close back up?
No, it's still open.
Okay.
It's still open. Yes, you kind of like you realize that there's no way to get through this door, so you now have the entirety of the facilities. There's no other metal men. There's no other sort of cultists, and you can pretty much take as much of this stuff as you want. You could turn it into sort of like a it'll be tricky to turn the whole thing into an arc because you'd have to make more on the outside because it wouldn't be able to sleep 166 now.
Yeah.
You could probably sleep at a maximum 40 odd people in here.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm kind of loath to give our newly acquired Spartan pit of death that has appeared. This big gaping hole that plunges into
darkness,
fiery darkness. When we have ambassadors come over and we can chat to them by the side of our diplomacy pit. But if there's not enough for I think this is maybe a refuge for us more than a living sanctuary.
Well, I mean, if someone else wants to take it from us, like another group, you kind of have to defend it somehow with a sizable number of people. But maybe, I mean, Chunk seems to like it, so.
Yeah, Chunk seems to like it. It's quite fun.
This could be Chunk's little holiday home.
I mean, if we can give it to Chunk, I mean, the guy's an absolute arse. So, I mean, if he's here, then, and we're back at the big building on the hill, I mean, all I can see is our life is going to be a lot sweeter.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't Chunk gonna come and like invade us 5 years down the road?
Yeah, I mean, it's being sort of like looted by everyone at the moment, and you definitely can take some stuff which will help you with increasing your arcs, stats, attributes, whatever you want to call it. So that will help. And I know you were talking before about potentially having the school on the hill as your main arc, and that probably has more potential than this does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely you could potentially you could move the pigs, they could go, which would also increase your food output, and you definitely have at least a week's worth of food and water here, which between the arc could move everything across to the school.
Yeah, like splitting the arc would really be sweet in terms of keeping the bosses from being at each other's throat quite so much. So long as, it would still, we'd still be sort of operating under the same roof.
Chunk's happy to loot everything. He doesn't really want the place. Neither does Trixie really. They if they'd have potentially had the access to the rest of it, they thought it would be bigger than it was.
Yeah. I mean, it's so nice and defensible, though.
It is.
If we ever ran into trouble again, nobody was going to take that from us.
Well, it's not. We're trying to find an arc for the.
Yeah, people need to live there, and the school's much better for that. That's not healthy living underground. People need sunshine and radiation.
Yeah, and
acid rain on their faces.
There's, So I think it sounds like we're kind of in agreement that we, putting our player hats on, that we want our arc to be at the school, and we want to transfer as much shit as we can from here to the school, so that we've got more food and water and pigs and whatever.
Yep.
And the artifacts too. So like the artifacts that can help increase the stats.
They can indeed.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, that seems like a plan. Right, in that case. So if you want to, if you wish to do that, you can do. I'm just going to go over to your arc sheet before we finish this session. And let's have a look. The arc. So I can tell you now that you'll be able to move the pigsty. That is fine. So you will get a pigsty in your new arc at the school. Everyone else is in agreement. They'll more than happily have that. And so that will give you, so someone wants to roll me 2d6, add the two together, and that will add to your food level, development level.
Anybody in particular want to do that? So a quick way to do it: on your character sheet at the top, there's a button that says roll next to push. If you click on that, it brings up a dialogue window, and you can just put in 2 base dice or whatever and then roll.
I'll do it.
That's okay.
Go for it.
2.
It's 5 on the dice.
5. Okay, cool. You've now got yourself a food level of 5. That's good. For the artifacts that you've just got.
We don't want to take the canoe around with us, do we? Like lug it around.
Well,
it could come in handy if we come across like a river or something.
Yes, you've got a lot of people to carry stuff. So if you're gonna take it, if you want.
We're definitely taking all this back to the Ark for sure.
Yeah, and if you want to give it back to the Ark so that it can go into there, they can use that canoe to add towards your technology development bonus.
Right. So this is what I'm getting at. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping ahead of knowing the rules. When we find artifacts out in the zone, some of them are quite useful for you as characters. Like their weapons and like all sorts of stuff, armor.
Us personally, I don't think we want to take
But yeah, exactly. So it's a case of if we want to keep it for ourselves, and technically we shouldn't be keeping any of it. Technically, any artifacts we find in the zone need to be brought back and given to the chroniclers to be studied. And when they increase the dev levels of your arc when they are invested back at your arc. They're kept at the arc. Yeah. So that's what I was meaning by like the canoe. We don't want to be lugging that around with us. So that can go back. The perfume bottle can go back. And the diary, we've read the diary. So I don't think we need to keep that either. We've got the information about it. So I think all of those would be going back to the arc.
No problem. So yeah, the canoe will eventually give you a +1 to your technology.
Okay.
And the perfume bottle.
Culture?
Culture, yeah, D6.
I would have thought.
Do we have anything on this to record the artifacts? We don't, do we?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
You could probably put it into info, I guess.
Can we add stuff?
Well, I guess it automatically it just turns into the development points, doesn't it? So, but yeah, we could.
Yeah, but
we
it's
could add stuff,
still
yeah.
technically something in the arc. So if it goes missing,
That
then
is true,
in
actually,
theory,
yeah, yeah.
then like we should probably keep track of what it is and how many dev points they're providing.
That's true.
I'll start writing it in.
Okay.
'Cause
Cool.
it looks like I can edit this thing.
Are you going to
Yeah. So,
also put in the Rubik's Cube, or is that yours personally?
so if you want to roll me a D6, someone, you can add that to your culture. It definitely smells very lovely.
Who's
It's
gonna roll
the
that?
pigs.
I will make a.
I'll roll it.
Okay, cool.
A 6.
Woohoo! Your culture has gone up to 12.
Wow.
Might have even pushed you over the level. Ooh.
Everything I was writing just
So
got
that's
deleted.
cool. And then, so you also had.
Diary, right?
Yep. I think the diary doesn't give you any development.
That's like a.
Oh, it does indeed. It gives you a D6 in culture.
Sweet.
Somebody else
Nice.
want to roll that?
Although I just want to check that. I just need to check the
Excuse me.
sorry.
If we're gonna take a break, I'm in dire need of hay fever.
That's okay. That's not a problem.
I think we'll be stopping the session very shortly.
Okay.
We'll take like a 5 or 10 minute
Yeah.
break.
Okay.
I'm just double checking. I have forgotten this. You'll have to bear with me. With the artifact, if it's already got if it's got a development requirement, can you
Oh.
only use that if the development requirement is at the same level as your development level?
Did they have development requirements on them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, both of them. The canoe and the perfume bottle.
Yeah. Just having a look. So like, say for the diary, it says the development requirement is 20.
Right.
And it
Okay.
gives you a development bonus of D6. I think you have to have like a 20 to then actually allow that to be used. I'm just going to double check though.
So on page 190, the Dawn Vault.
Mhm.
Each artifact handed gives a bonus to the arc's dev level.
Okay.
Doesn't say
But
anything about the.
it doesn't say what it does with the.
But if it has
I
a
think there's a-
requirement on it, then it's probably. No, I think the dev requirement level is if you want to use it, actually, from memory. Hold on, I think that's under. Where was that in the book?
Yeah, I've completely forgotten. I couldn't remember if you need to use. Yeah, if you're using it, do you? For you to understand it, do you need to have the development requirement, or? You'll have to bear with me. I thought it was there, but it's not. Sorry, everyone.
I think we'll figure this out before we have our
Yes,
next session.
that makes sense.
So,
We'll do that then. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Let's
guess-
have a break, shall we?
before we have the break, just to close this episode off,
Mhm.
can we talk about experience points? I mean, there's not really probably much
Can
this
indeed.
time.
No, I would imagine for experience. Let's going to be particularly generous to you, I think, today, just to kind of round you off for the story and for everything else. I'm going to give you 3 each. Yeah. Yes, just round you off for 3, and then we can next session we can kind of have a look, see if you've got any that you want to spend, and then we'll kind of discuss the arc. I'll kind of do a bit of work on it quickly to give you the extra bits, and then that will be it, I think, and then we can start a fresh session.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
Thanks,
Amazing.
All right, thanks everyone for watching. As always, if you could like the video, that really does help with the algorithm for these videos to be found, etc. when people search for them. And if you haven't already, if you could subscribe to the channel, that also really helps the channel to grow. If you've got any comments or questions about this episode, you can leave them in the comments below, or you can reach out on social media. All the links are in the description for this video. And that's us. So thanks very much, and we'll catch you next time.
Cheers.